Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, I don't believe it. As soon as I start filming, it decides to rain. Well, given that the sun's out, I don't think it will last long. Right, this was a suggestion from a viewer, and I don't think it's a bad idea because, apart from perhaps a few decers in the pots, this is unique in my grow room. It's a seedling. I don't buy seedlings. It's very rarely I'll even buy a plant that's not in bloom unless I'm absolutely confident it's the genuine article and I know what the blooms are going to be like. I tend to buy mature plants in bloom, and that's how I add to the collection. So, as such, it was suggested that I turn this into a mini project and we monitor its growth up to and hopefully including blooming. So all you old timers like me might not make it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it is growing on quite well. But to do a mini project and monitor progress, we need to know exactly what we've got at the moment. So basically I'm going to class that and this as 3 seedling leaves, because they are low down and hanging out sideways and easily identified. So providing they remain on the plant, we have 3 seedling leaves. Then the rest of the leaves, the more upright ones, I'm going to count as maturing leaves. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah? And they are progressing in size from this one across the plant up to this one, which is the largest. So that's as we are at the moment. We have 1 new growth. Yeah? So that's the plant as it stands. Now, I don't know how fast a grower this is actually going to be. So I don't know how often our mini project needs to be updated. How often do I do updates? I mean, I can do an update on this in a 2-minute video, providing I keep concentrate and stick to the point. Yeah, that'll be the day, won't it? But you see what I mean. I can do a quick update on a single plant very quickly. It's no work, it's no effort. You know, I mean, a pop-up of the plant name and a pop-up of what the bloom will look like, because I have had one of these before and it did flower. So I have got my own picture of the bloom. So I'll do that. But it's not going to take long to produce the video. Now, I doubt if many of you caught it, but I've just done an experimental video that has now been deleted. So it was only actually there for about 5 minutes, so I doubt if any of you saw it, but just in case you did. I'm trying to help an individual, but in doing so, it may help others that have got the same problem. Those of you that remember, I did a video and it had an AI generated echo on it. So it had my voice, which had been subdued, and an AI generated voice using roughly the same words over the top, and not in time. It was out of sync. It was awful. But it was a YouTube new setting that had been defaulted incorrectly. So I turned it off, thinking we're not having any of that anymore. Unfortunately, that had an adverse effect. If you watch my videos and English isn't your first language and you'd like to see the captions in your own language, even though you want to listen to me and my voice, then you can turn captions on and then you can select via the settings on the video which language you'd like to see those captions in. Well, when I turned off this auto dubbing, as it's called, I lost that function. So I've turned it back on, but I needed to do an experiment to make sure we didn't get the silly AI generated voice over the top. And it seemed to work fine. And I went into the settings, and hang on, that's my phone. Oh, another rogue call. What's happened is at some point I've purchased something, probably from, well, yeah, I'm going to say it, probably from China, and basically part of the details you have to put in include your mobile number, and it's for delivery reasons. So if there's a problem, the delivery driver can contact you. That's what they say it's for. And then what they're doing is they're storing up all these numbers off of these people and selling them to unscrupulous people who then use them for various reasons. And one of the reasons is to hide their number. There's a little bit of technology you can get that allows you to phone somebody up from a mobile device, and the number that shows is different to their actual number, and they're using my number. So this guy's just phoned me up and said, "You rang me?" I said, "Well, sorry, no, I didn't." So I explained to him what's happened and said, "Just block the number, then it won't happen again." And he said, "Yeah, I'm getting a few of these sorts of things lately. They're really annoying." This was really annoying. I was in the middle of filming and I've stopped in case it's important, and it's just rubbish again. Why can't people just get a proper job? Anyway, that might explain something that you didn't know about. Somebody phones you up and says, "You've just rung me," and you know that you didn't, then your phone number's on one of those lists that gets used to mask other people's naughty numbers, you know, that they don't want found out, because otherwise people might trace them back to their site and set fire to it or something, accidentally, you know. I'd like to get hold of a couple of them and have a play. It'd do me the world of good. I'm getting too old for that sort of thing. Right, so yes, a mini project with some distractions. But I think it's not a bad idea for what is effectively unique, the only seedling in the grow room. So let's monitor its progress and its speed, and there will be some work done on it because it obviously can't stay in that pot. It needs to come out of there and go in an open basket. I can't remember whether the blooms actually come out of the side or the bottom or out of the top, you know, base of the plant. I can't remember. So to cover my options, you have an open basket with some moss in, and you know, it'll push the flower spike out wherever it chooses, and it'll have a place to escape. So that will have to be done once the plant's settled into my environment, and I'm going to class it as settled in when this new growth matures, because that means it's actively growing, and hopefully then it might start a new one. We shall see. So that's the sort of benchmark video. We've got the 3 seedling leaves hanging over the sides. We've got our 6 maturing leaves getting bigger as time's gone on, and we have 1 single new growth at the front of the plant, and I'll try and film it at the same angle next time round. So not everybody's going to be interested in this, because I know a lot of people can't grow Draculas because they haven't got a suitable environment. You need a cool, moist environment for these, and they don't like bright light. But sometimes, although they don't like bright light to grow and can grow in quite heavy shade, quite honestly, sometimes you have to move them to brighter light to get them to bloom. But that's not how they would normally grow. What happens in the wild, I really don't know. And I always thought that Dracula Bella, with a name like Bella, was actually a hybrid. It's not, it's an actual species. So whoever first described that, maybe they used their own name or their other half's name or something, I don't know. Anyway, there we go, a mini project suggested by a viewer, and we can get a series of videos out of this, especially as I've been struggling for subject matter and having to miss days out, and the idea was that even more days are going to get missed out rather than, you know, not have any decent content, if you know what I mean. So hopefully this will be a nice little mini project to follow. So there we go. Tomorrow is Sunday, Sunday chat as normal tomorrow, and now I've got to water my cymbidiums, and it's a job I really don't like doing because they are heavy, they're clumsy, the leaves all get caught up and tangle up, and I have to put some down on the floor to get them out of the way, which means they're now heavy because they've been watered and I've got to pick them up. And it's a job I really don't like doing. Luckily it doesn't have to be done very often. I mean, it's nearly 2 weeks ago these were last watered. We've got no temperatures now, so it's cool. which suits them down to the ground, but it means they don't use up the moisture in the pot as quick as they would have done back when we had the heat. So yeah, that's today's job, and then the rest of the pots will all get watered on Monday. So no watering tomorrow. I'll do the mounts today as well, and that's done. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and I hope my change that I've made helps out my well, it was a French viewer who specifically made the request, but there will be others out there that haven't made the request. But I mean, you know, the comment was written in French. I had to translate the comment to find out what the comment actually said. And then I had to type my answer to the comment in the translation software and get it to translate English into French to be able to post the reply. So I've already done a fair bit of work on this, but it's a general piece of work that can apply to other people. And there may be some people who actually arrive at the channel and have found that the translation on the captions doesn't work, so they don't stay. So this may be a useful thing that I've done. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.